Busy day for the NDA government and the Congress over the raging Lalit Modi-Sushma Swaraj controversy. But in the latest, Lalit Modi's counsel held a press conference late this evening where Mahmood Abdi has claimed that the former IPL commissioner is not a fugitive. He claims Modi is the victim of a political conspiracy after he revealed facts over Sunanda Pushkar's IPL links. Just before the press conference, Lalit Modi sent out a flurry of tweets saying he would blow the lid off the real people behind the IPL scam and that a new storm is about to hit. He put in a whole bunch of emoticons, made it seem as if this would turn out to be a very dramatic press conference where he would gun for Congress leaders. While his lawyer did a press conference, he made several points, but it didn't have the kind of explosive revelations Lalit Modi spoke about.
Their first stand is that Mr. Lalit Modi is an offender and a fugitive. Let me clarify for your clarity and for your viewers at large that a fugitive and an offender is a legal term which cannot be used so generously, so liberally and loosely as some of my media friends are using. A fugitive or an offender has to be declared by a court of law under the procedure and the process as set out in the CRPC. May I ask these people who are very fond of saying the country wants to know, I want to know from you which court has declared Mr. Lalit Modi an offender. Please clarify this. Has there been any proceeding against him in any court of law which has declared him an offender? He is not an offender. He is staying with knowledge of everybody in UK by following the due process of UK immigration laws. The government of UK has allowed him to stay there. The order of the first tribunal in UK immigration found and recorded that he is being persecuted in India and his passport has been unlawfully and immorally revoked. This is all on record. I can share it with you, all the documents. They are very bulky documents. If somebody has intervened on humanitarian grounds, somebody's wife is suffering from cancer, even if, assuming that consent was not required, why do you visit your patients in hospital, your relatives, every time your consent is required? There's an emotional part. Human being is not like an electrical socket. You just put in and just take out. Foreign minister did not intervene in it. She said, I have no problem if you have got, you deal with as per your laws. That's it. What more do you want? If somebody is asking, and it is a duty. She has completely lived up to her duty as a foreign minister to help any Indian outside who is in trouble.
Modi's counsel there speaking out in defense of Sushma Swaraj's actions, hitting out at the Congress government. The Congress, meanwhile, is in no mood to let Sushma Swaraj off the hook. They're in fact targeting Prime Minister Narendra Modi, asking questions about whether Prime Minister Modi knew about the special favour the External Affairs Minister wanted to dole out to this fugitive. Rahul Gandhi jumped into the action, gave a charged up comment where he said that Sushma Swaraj must step down and that the Prime Minister must in fact sack his External Affairs Minister.
In March 2015, the former IPL czar Lalit Modi posted a picture of himself with glitzy socialites Paris Hilton and Naomi Campbell. 5 weeks later, former IPL Commissioner Lalit Modi was strolling alongside a sun-kissed beach in Thailand. And here he is in the Four Seasons Hotel in Seychelles. Almost half a year back, the scam-tainted Lalit Modi was vacationing in the forests of Tanzania. These were some of the snapshots from the life of the globe-trotting fugitive Lalit Modi, 5 years after the Enforcement Directorate issued a notice for him. While the bad boy of Indian cricketing administration was living at large, his alleged links to the Swaraj clan have put a union minister in the dock.
The Congress party has increased the ambit of the attack on the government. They are not just targeting Sushma Swaraj now, but also questioning the deafening silence of the Prime Minister. They are also questioning as to whether Lalit Modi, a man who is alleged to have bungled 700 crores and refused to appear to the show cause notices by the government, is even considered a fugitive by the NDA government.
And armed with Lalit Modi's Instagram feed, the Congress has dragged in the Prime Minister.
माननीय प्रधानमंत्री श्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी, माननीय भाजपा अध्यक्ष श्री अमित शाह जी और कानून के भगोड़े ललित मोदी का क्या रिश्ता है?
The relentless attack fronted by Sushma Swaraj's predecessor.
Why don't they just stand up and be counted for what they have done? And if it's wrong, they should take responsibility for it.
Congress is saying that he's fugitive. Who was ruling when he became fugitive?
With the Congress escalating the fight to the level of Prime Minister, the year-old NDA is accused of shielding a man on the run with the law. Will the government address the concerns of the PMO's involvement in helping Lalit Modi? With Maha Siddiqui in Delhi, Bureau Report, India Today.
There's a lot of noise, a lot of exaggeration, a lot of sensationalism on this story and other channels. We're trying to tie up the loose ends for you to try and put this in context. And joining me now on the newsroom are three top journalists who are tracking the story very, very closely. Rajdeep Sardesai, consulting editor; Vinay Tiwari, managing editor of Headlines Today; and India Today's Kunal Pradhan. Thank you very much for joining us. Now, Rajdeep, we saw those tweets, and I'll just play those out for our viewers, where Lalit Modi puts out a whole bunch of emoticons and says, this will be the biggest press conference, this is my opportunity to hit back. And then we heard the press conference, his lawyer said nothing, it was a damn squib.
It was a damn squib in the context of what Lalit Modi had promised, saying, I'm going to expose the system, this is going to be a blowout. I think, though, it was important for, from Sushma Swaraj's point of view, that Mahmood Abdi comes and defends Lalit Modi, because he was not just defending Lalit Modi, he was also in a way defending Sushma Swaraj, virtually suggesting, producing the letter of a cancer research scholar suggesting that Mr. Modi was needed by the bedside of his wife, the whole argument over consent, suggesting that the enforcement directorate blue corner notice did not exist and that Mr. Modi was not an offender. What had the UPA done over the last 4 or 5 years? Even dragging in Sunanda Tharoor's name and Shashi Tharoor's name. At the end of the day, it was damage control. And I think it was damage control not just for Lalit Modi, but also importantly for Sushma Swaraj. I think the bigger question about impropriety, about conflict of interest still remains. Those questions have not been answered. I don't think Mahmood Abdi can answer those questions. Those questions have to be politically answered by Sushma Swaraj and the NDA establishment. So I don't think the controversy is over as a result of what Mr. Mahmood Abdi did. It was temporary damage limitation.
But in the midst of all of this, Vinay, the enforcement director is going to slap 1,700 crore rupee penalty on Lalit Modi in 16 cases. Is this in response to what we've seen over the past 48 hours?
Well, the ED is taking a lot of pains to try and explain that this was an ongoing investigation. They don't say that it's linked to whatever has happened in the last 48 hours. But the obvious truth is this has come out now because there is something going on in the background and they want to be seen to be defending. I think it's important for us to explain to the viewers, all these cases of FEMA violations started after the Indian edition of IPL went to South Africa in 2009 because of general elections. And subsequently, on awarding of television rights and then the issue of 2 new franchises that came to the IPL, a series of cases were registered by the ED in terms of FEMA violations. Those cases involved not just Lalit Modi but other official members, board members of the BCCI as well. So the ED is also trying to clarify.
So the 1,700 crore penalty notice means the ED has probed this case and they believe that the extent of fraud, the extent of penalty is 1,700 crores in these 16 cases.
That's right. And they are also trying to say that this is now in the final stages of the closure, which means they've reached the end of their investigation of how much a penalty should be levied on the people who were accused of this.
While everyone in India has been worked up into a frenzy, Kunal, Lalit Modi himself is holidaying in Europe, he's on a beach and he's got all of us here worked up in knots.
See, Rahul, nobody does theatre like Lalit Modi. The entire IPL is actually a physical manifestation of what Lalit Modi is. You know, the glamour, the girls, you know, jet setting around the world. You know, that is what he wanted. And, you know, he was in London, he was tweeting. He still managed to remain relevant to world cricket because he was the only guy who was taking on Srinivasan and a big 3. You know, only proper person who, you know, who was putting out documents. Some were good, some were bad, some made sense. But what he missed was actually this, you know. jet setting all over the place, going.
He's still jet setting.
No, and he's doing that immediately. The first thing he's done is, you know, he's with Naomi Campbell one day and Paris Hilton another. But I think one very important point actually from what Vinay was saying is that he's now cornered himself into a position where nobody can publicly seem to be associated with him. So, you know, the government may do something on the side and somebody may call up somebody, but the moment it becomes public, they say no.
No, but is this ED penalty also an attempt by the government to ensure that the BJP doesn't come across as being seen as being too close to Lalit Modi?
Absolutely, and it again stems from what both Vinay and Kunal are saying, that today in a way Lalit Modi is persona non grata. He is not a proclaimed offender. His lawyer today was at pains in saying he's not Dawood Ibrahim. He's right. Lalit Modi is not Dawood Ibrahim. There's no charge sheet against Lalit Modi even to this day. The charges of forgery, cheating are all in the context of IPL. There's a charge of the ED of money laundering. These are all earlier charges, but there has been no charge sheet. However, Lalit Modi, who when Vasundhara Raje was the chief minister between 2003 and 8, was very close to Vasundhara. Vasundhara distanced herself from him. Arun Jaitley, with whom Lalit Modi had a public squabble on Twitter, targeted Arun Jaitley to the point where today Kirti Azad, a BJP MP, is alluding to the fact that this could be a proxy war between Arun Jaitley and Sushma Swaraj, and Lalit Modi is in the middle of it.
So let me ask you, is it?
Look, there is no evidence. Again, a lot of this is smoke. But as often, there is no smoke without some fire. What is clear, the way everyone is trying to settle scores. Kirti Azad has a problem with Arun Jaitley in the context of Delhi Cricket Association elections. He is using Lalit Modi now to fire at Arun Jaitley. So you see, Shatrughan Sinha is a BJP dissenter. He is backing Kirti Azad. So
Tarun Vijay as well.
So typically, within the BJP, within the Sangh Parivar, various battles are being fought. Shiv Sena has always been a strong supporter of Sushma Swaraj. They've come out strongly in support of her. The RSS, which perhaps believes that if Sushma Swaraj has to leave the cabinet, Narendra Modi will become even more powerful, is now coming out strongly in support of Sushma Swaraj. We also know that Lalit Modi has had strong relations with the BJP leadership and RSS, not just with Vasundhara but other leaders as well. Lalit Modi is close to Sharad Pawar. In the letters that he says when he thanks people on August 1 in the mail, he also ceases it to Sharad Pawar. So Lalit Modi has had at one time associates and friends across parties, but now, as Kunal rightly puts it, he is becoming increasingly friendless and a persona non grata. Why is it that Sushma Swaraj, if it was on humanitarian grounds, you could have made it public, you could have told people, you could have gone through the procedure. But because it was Lalit Modi, you did it in a cloak and dagger manner. And it's the cloak and dagger manner in which Sushma Swaraj did it which has got her into trouble. There's no corruption, but there is clearly questions over impropriety.
Now we've got this ED notice that's being slapped. What happens next? Because Lalit Modi, lawyer in that press conference, said there's no blue corner notice against him, which the ED is contesting. They're in fact contemplating increasing that to a red corner alert. So what happens post this notice being served to Lalit Modi?
Well, ironically, Rahul, my assessment is it's only going to make matter worse for Lalit Modi. I think all his attempts that he's made in the last couple of years or so is just going to make it worse. Once you slap a notice, there is a financial liability that each of the individuals named in the notice, they'll attract that, which means by procedure, you got to recover that amount. You can't recover an amount of somebody who's positioning himself out in UK and not returning to India. The government will be under then test whether they will then approach the court to press for his formal extradition. For that, you'll have to get a warrant issued. You'll have to perhaps approach the court and get him declared as a formal proclaimed offender. Something that Abdi was trying to deny today, saying there's no court which has said so. What is true is under CRPC, you need a court to declare somebody a proclaimed offender or an absconder, which is something the government can well do because it's in their rights.
But am I right in also saying that if that has to happen, there has to be a charge sheet? Where is the charge sheet?
Rajdeep,
to be declared a proclaimed offender, do I need a charge sheet or is an FIR enough?
Not necessary. It depends on the nature of the crime, which the current blue corner notice only means this, that this individual is wanted for an investigation. If you upgrade this notice to a red corner notice, then you are liable to be actually brought back physically by force with the cooperation of the country wherever you are.
No, but the one question is, what happens to Lalit Modi from here on? He is a cat possibly with 900 lives, not just with 9 lives. He's gotten away. Can he get away this time too?
See, Rahul, I think it's becoming more and more established that Lalit Modi's is the kiss of death. Right? He was associated with Vasundhara Raje. She lost the election in 2008. He was associated with Shashi Tharoor. They did the Kochi deal. Shashi Tharoor lost his ministry. He's associated with Sushma Swaraj. She's in the dock now defending herself that, you know, this was not any out-of-turn favor, etc., etc. I think the important thing is, you know, Lalit Modi is going to Dubai and he's going to Montenegro and wherever else. Is he going to come to India or not? Is this government now, which has given him freedom to roam, going to come under pressure to bring him back to India. You know, till now, Lalit Modi had become somebody else's problem. The ED was writing a couple of letters, nobody really cared. The BCCI was happy he's sitting in London. Okay, he can tweet once in a while, but he's not really our problem. Now, will Lalit Modi become a problem because of what has happened in the manner in which it happened?
That's a brilliant point, because what happens now is between 2010 and 2014, the Congress also should be answering, what were you doing to deport? Why didn't you do enough to deport Lalit Modi? From what I know, Chidambaram was very keen to have him deported. He's the one who was pushing it. He sent a few letters. Did the ED act on it? Did other ministry officials, did the High Commission then act on it? Did the External Affairs Ministry act on it? They didn't. The fact was Lalit Modi was having a field day for 4 years in the United Kingdom. And now suddenly, even in the last 1 year, I don't think this NDA government has made the slightest effort to look at Lalit Modi and try and have him deported. But now, because of the pressure, suddenly this government will have to be seen to be doing something in the context of Lalit Modi.
The one question that no one's asking is, how did these emails become public? Who was tapping into these emails? How is it that someone had access to all these emails? Is this, Kunal, part of an internecine war which goes back to a Srini camp versus a Modi camp, both being suspicious of each other, both keeping an eye on each other, both possibly even hiring private investigators to see what the other was up to?
I mean, Rahul, there was a lot of talk about this whole private investigator business a couple of weeks back, you know, when the whole Srini thing came out. I mean, it is not established that that was the reason, or that is why it came out. It could be, it could not be. But, you know, in terms of larger BCCI politics, you know, the fact of the matter is that Lalit Modi is pretty much irrelevant. See, in the BCCI, you can only become a part of this cozy club if you have an association behind you. With Lalit Modi being out of this club of 29, he doesn't have entry into the front door. So the BCCI is not really scared of him in terms of him coming back and springing the coup.
How many emails he has?
But the thing is,
all those emoticons could be bombs waiting to go off.
What can he tell? And you know, how willing is he to, when he decides that, you know, I am going down, there's no coming back, how many people is he going to take down with him?
Last question.
And he's been threatening this for the last 5 years. I've been hearing these threats. I'm going to bring down the establishment. I'm going to come out with such a bombshell that the world cricket establishment will be shaken.
So, Rahul, there is a very important point. Keith Vaz has actually said so publicly that because he's a sitting member of the parliament there, he does want an inquiry into finding out how his emails had got leaked. So in the UK, perhaps this will get investigated and how his emails
and it'll have to be probed seriously, unlike a sham that
and they do their investigations very well.
Last question, will Sushma Swaraj survive?
You know, I think at the moment Sushma Swaraj will survive, because for the very fact that if Sushma Swaraj is asked to go, there will be questions within the Sangh Parivar. Was this an attempt being made by Narendra Modi, by Arun Jaitley, by the so-called anti-Sushma camp to destabilize their own, to in some way edge out Sushma from politics. So they don't want that conspiracy theory to gather ground.
And that camp believes that 2 attacks have already happened, one against Rajnath Singh then multiple attacks against Nitin Gadkari.
So I think what has happened is clearly Sushma Swaraj has been weakened as a result of this. I think the government can live with a weak Sushma Swaraj at the moment. They don't want to live with the idea of a Sushma Swaraj who's totally ostracized. Plus, the quid pro quo angle has to be more conclusively proven than it is so far. The fact that her daughter, and today I think Mr. Abdi made one very good point. He said that Sushma Swaraj's daughter was the counsel even when the case was being heard by the UPA. And the judgment was reserved in the UPA years and only delivered in August 2014. So the conflict of interest point in the context of Sushma's daughter, I think, was one of the questions that Mr. Abdi seemed to answer relatively successfully. Other questions will remain, but until you prove a direct quid pro quo, I think Sushma Swaraj will be able to turn around and say, maybe I made a judgment error, and I think she did, but at the end of the day, have I been proven to be either corrupt, or have I shown, is it a case of gross impropriety? If that's not the case, I think the government will try and ride it out and hope that some news will overtake it in the next couple of days.
Okay, I'm going to leave it over there. Weakened, but she's likely to survive. Thank you very much, Rajdeep, Kunal and Vinay, for joining me on the newsroom. Now, we spoke about how there's a possible angle of an internal subterfuge. Was this a hit job coming from within the BJP, from one of Sushma's many enemies who want to destabilize her? Remember, she's come out on the top of the charts when it came to the best performing minister in the Modi Sarkar. Well, Kirti Azad, BJP MP from Darbhanga, hit out at Arun Jaitley today, saying that he believes that this is a hit job. The Congress too jumped on to fuel this theory, suggesting that this could possibly be a hit job by Sushma's internal enemies. Take a look at this report.
The opposition unleashing its fury at the doorstep of the External Affairs Minister. And "Sack Sushma" slogans engulfed the air in the Congress's high-voltage protest.
हमारी मांग है कि सुषमा स्वराज इस्तीफा दे, किसी सिटिंग जज से इंक्वायरी हो और मोदी जी उसके ऊपर स्पष्टीकरण दे.
On Monday morning, Sushma Swaraj left for work after she admitted facilitating IPL scam-accused Lalit Modi's travel across the globe last year.
Despite this being the start of a new week, a Monday morning, Sushma Swaraj, and it's almost 11 o'clock in the morning, she's yet to step out of her home. Security forces here deployed in high numbers.
But it's not just the opposition that has the ruling party on the back foot. An explosive tweet by one of its own has hinted at Sushma being a victim of a hidden enemy within the BJP.
कीर्ति आजाद जनरली जो बातें करते हैं बहुत सोच समझ के करते हैं, समझदारी के साथ करते हैं, लेकिन इसके आगे और मैं कुछ नहीं कर सकता.
Murmurs of a conflict of interest arose with Sushma's daughter Bansuri Kaushal being named among Lalit Modi's lawyers.
At a time when her daughter was his lawyer, this was, in my view, totally inappropriate. And in fact, there should be conflict of interest laws in this country.
With the power corridors in New Delhi in a tizzy, sources in London have told India Today that the MP whose email trail set off the passport row won't be investigated. A charging opposition, a possible wedge within the BJP, and damning family links to a most wanted man. Will Sushma Swaraj have to do more than just issue a clarification on Twitter? With Smita Sharma and Brijesh Pandey in Delhi and Lavina Tandon in London, Bureau Report, India Today.